Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now May 5th of 2022, and ever since the very end of course, The Mandalorian Season 2, The Book of Boba Fett, The Bad Batch, of course, a lot of fans are now looking forward to all of the new Star Wars TV series that are going to be arriving in the next couple of months, of course, leading up to the next couple of years as a grand total of exactly what Jon and Dave are really trying to do with the new Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we are currently in a very exciting time for Star Wars, given that there are a lot of things happening at the same exact time between George, Jon, and Dave, bringing back, of course, Star Wars Legends into the mix, and really giving fans exactly, what they have been waiting to see for a number of years now, right? So, George and Jon and Dave Filoni, they're all trying to really make sure that Legends is going to be done in a very proper way for the fans, and it's going to be done in a way where it's going to actually intersect with, of course, all of the canon material properly. Now, on top of all of this, we already know that the Ahsoka Tano TV series is well into filming right now. There's a lot of sets that are also being built for the filming that will be involved, of course, in June with actor Hayden Christensen and Rosario Dawson once more. It's going to be an exciting time, there's no doubt about that. The Ahsoka series, by the way, is still slated for a spring of 2023 release. Now, on top of that, the Acolyte TV show by Kathleen is still having a lot of setbacks, a lot of problems. I've said this numerous times. I don't really feel or believe that show is really going to make it to either the 2023 release slot, or it might not even see the light of day in general to begin with, but that's just me. So, on top of all of this, however, with, of course, both Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on their new Star Wars universe, creators Jon and Dave Filoni are beginning to work on the Ahsoka Tano TV series for Disney+. Now, it's described, however, that currently actor Pedro Pascal has been creating some problems behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm, with actor Karl Urban set to replace Pedro Pascal for one of the new Star Wars TV shows on Disney+. Now, it's described that as of now, Pedro Pascal is having many problems over the fact that Disney recently gave Karl Urban more screen time for the Bo-Katan series over what Pedro Pascal was originally promised before he was let go from the show, for causing conflict over the Disney actual new project for Disney+. Now, further, it's described that this is causing further issues now with Pedro Pascal and Karl Urban, because of Urban getting more screen time and sticking to Disney's demands to keep the helmet on for the series with minimal face time. Pedro is now giving an ultimatum to leave The Mandalorian as a whole after Season 4 drops on Disney Plus and its surrounding spin-off shows. It's described that Disney has a host of spin-off shows in the works that will still be based in the Mandoverse timeline overall that comes after Mando Season 4 that will involve Din Djarin. However, now and this time around, Pedro is warning Disney that he is about to leave after what they did with Karl Urban by giving him more screen time in the Bo-Katan series and even giving him a helmetless scene as well. So let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, we talked about the whole situation about Karl Urban and Pedro Pascal. The development here, though, however, is that Karl Urban, surprisingly, is getting more screen time in the Bo-Katan series now in comparison to what Pedro Pascal was promised for the Bo-Katan show before he was let go and fired from that series. Obviously, it really seems like that Disney is kind of rewarding Karl Urban, that's what it sounds like to me at least, for really being very cooperative and allowing them to do as they please with the character of Din, not having a character with the helmet off the entirety of the season, or the series, I should say, which is what Pedro Pascal wanted. Now, of course, they are free of that conflict. So, when you look at everything related to Disney CEO Bob Chapek, the one thing that he really wants is that he wants to leave a footprint in Star Wars. He wants to leave his own legacy, behind when he plans on leaving in 2024. We talked about this too also, is that Bob Chapek is in the working stages of trying to find a proper candidate of who's going to replace him as the new Disney CEO when he leaves in Q3 of 24 is what he is planning right now, because of all the drama that's happening over at Disney. So, beyond all of this, everything related to Pedro Pascal and Karl Urban, alright, it gets even more complicated, is that on the other hand, Karl Urban is set to begin work on the Bo-Katan show sometime by late 2023, where they do intend to release the series sometime in 2024. The show is described to follow the story of Bo-Katan, Tar Vizsla, and Din Djarin in separate moments in time that will make it a very unique show. However, as of now, it is planned to only be a limited TV series for Disney+, where the series is described to also involve more flashback scenes of Din Djarin's childhood, and will tap more into his backstory that will uncover new truths about the character that the fans would have never expected to have seen. Now, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, alright, this is where it really gets intense, is that, however, behind the scenes recently stepped in to try and convince Disney to change their mind about using Karl Urban and to just give Pedro the face time that he is actually demanding in the Bo-Katan show without having the helmet on. So Kathleen Kennedy is now involved in all of this again and trying to really kind of have a say in the matter. Essentially, Pedro wants the Master Chief helmetless treatment from, of course, the highly criticized Halo TV series show on Paramount. However, Disney still is not listening to Kathleen Kennedy's request for Pedro Pascal and how he should be used in the Bo-Katan show. So far, Karl Urban has been in the talks deeply with Favreau and Filoni on his involvement as Din Djarin in the new series, and has been informed that his face time will be down to a bare minimum, and Karl is described to be perfectly fine with all of this. However, Pedro is still giving his ultimatum about future Star Wars projects and more. So let me just stop right here for a second. Now, the thing about Karl Urban, alright, is that he seems like he's being very cooperative. He is really listening to Disney and what they want for the character. Karl Urban, I don't know if you guys have ever actually listened to him talk or, you know, watched him talk about his films, but he's a very passionate actor. He just loves the work. He loves working on these movies and all these different projects that he has been on in the past, you know, numerous years, by the way. He's been around for a very long time. And then you have Pedro Pascal, who really just kind of stirs things up and doesn't really come across as super passionate with the Star Wars fans, with the Star Wars lore, and the overall fandom, right? To Pedro, to me at least, it seems more around the lines like it's just a paycheck for him or just a job. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how his vibe comes off, at least for me and my perception. So, beyond all of that, alright, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy stepping in and causing more problems and trying to convince Disney to reverse everything about Karl Urban and really kind of trying to make things right. Obviously, Kathleen Kennedy's desperate. You know, she likes Pedro Pascal for a reason. She doesn't want to see him go away in other Star Wars TV shows because now he's given that ultimatum, and it's just causing more and more problems for the overall Mandoverse. But it's really not all that big of a deal because they already have Karl Urban. If they really have to, they could use him in other additional Star Wars TV shows. The only problem is that if they have to use extensive helmetless scenes and he doesn't really appear near similar to Pedro Pascal at times, that's where you might have an issue. But I digress, guys. So, on top of all of this, guys, you know, let me know what you think about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.